Hey guys, so I just left the post office with some whatnot packages, and I wasn't going to go to the thrift store today, but I just couldn't help myself. I need a couple of things to make over for you guys this week, so I thought that I would take you along with me and we'll see what we can find to buy and flip for a profit. So let's go on inside and see what we can find. So this is pretty much my only local thrift store, and I only come on Mondays because they have dollar days. So we're looking for orange tags or blue tags are 50% off. And this is why I don't show you guys thrifting videos, because as you can see, it's not great. So I did find a wood frame here that looks good, and lucky enough, it does have an orange tag, so that's coming home with me. We can make it look good for sure. One thing they always have plenty of is clear glass, but I'm not really interested in that. I do love these vintage bottles. I think they're like cologne bottles, but at $4.99 each, I think I'm gonna have to leave them here. I don't really care for watching thrifted videos too much, and I'm very bad at filming them. So I'm going to put the timestamp where the makeovers start if you want to skip onto that. Now this is a good find. I've actually been needing a little ironing board for the shop, and this one's only $4.99, and it's a perfect size. It'll hang in my studio. That way I'll have it when I need it. And this picture caught my eye, not the apples, but the shape of it, and it is a half off tag. So even at $5, I feel like that's going to be a great makeover, and we don't have a lot to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and get that picture to make it over. I also love this utensil as it is, but I am not paying $10 for it. Pretty sure I could get one anywhere else for that same price. This, I think, is some peel and stick wallpaper, and there's a ton of it. It looks thick and good quality, and I like it, and it would be great for covering books and journals and all. And this gravy boat caught my eye. It is made in Germany. It does have a half off $6.99, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, but I'm not going to make it over. I have picked up several of these little cutting boards before here at this thrift store, but like a year ago. So I don't know if they got another donation of them or if that was just one that was left over. One thing about this thrift store, they do always have tons of furniture, and because they have massive amounts, the prices are not terrible. I definitely am not needing any furniture right now. I have nowhere to put it in the shop, so I'm just glancing through to see if there's actually just some mega deal that I cannot turn down. I do actually like this display shelf, and it is a blue tag, which means it's half off, so it would only be, I think, $20 today, but I'm gonna leave it behind. I have tons of these oak chairs. I have 4 right now and like a bar stool, so I'm not interested in that. This was a really cool chair also, but I'm not gonna get it. I don't have the room. I really don't need furniture today, and this will, excuse me, this one was $20. Side tables are always something that I can sell. This one was actually only $1, and it had one right next to it that was also $1 that needed lots of work, but I just don't have the time to mess with them right now. But if I needed one, those would be good. And then I also found this chest that when I opened it up, the lid fell off, but that could be fixed with hinges, but it is cedar. I decided, since it is a blue tag, half off, it would still be $20. That's a good deal for a cedar chest, but I'm gonna wait and see if it's here next week, because whatever is half off today will be $1 next week. Just a quick glance through the linens. The only thing I saw interested was this Afghan, and I really don't need it. It's not the time of year to be buying Afghans. So I think I picked up 2 or 3 things, and that was literally all I could find in this whole place. So here's a quick shot of my cart. I did get some stationery stuff and a book. I didn't show you guys this book, but it was $2.99, and here's everything that I got to make over. We have this little cutting board. I like that it has the little porcelain in the middle. I've decorated several of them. I showed you guys this picture. I love the shape of it, and it's going to be a fun makeover. I found this book. It's an old book, but the reason I loved it were these gorgeous pages with the deckled edge. I can totally use these in my junk journaling, bookmaking. So I'm going to give that a makeover. And then you saw this frame is only $1. So let's get started. Oh, wait, I did pick something out of the store. I had put this on a top shelf and forgot about it. I had got it at Goodwill for $3.99, which was a great deal for one of these shoeshine boxes, and I love making them over. So we are going to start with this ceramic pitcher. The apples, if apples ever come back, I'm in trouble because I don't like them. You do find them a lot, but we're buying them up and making them over. It's kind of like the heart cutouts in the wood. If they come back, which those kind of did, we filled all those hearts. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make this one over, and I am giving it 2 coats of Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Bayberry. Y'all, I'm trying so hard not to open up any new product. This one's been open a while, and as you can see, it's pretty thick. I got the 2 coats on and let them dry. It did go on very easy other than being thick. It stuck well. It covered well. But once the 2 coats were dry, I could see all of those brush strokes, which never usually happens with Fusion because it has a self-leveler in it. I think that paint had just got too thick. I should have stirred it up, added a little water or some paint extender or something. But to fix this, I'm just going to come back with a chip brush. This brush had actually been stuck in a water jar. I keep one on my desk, so it was a little wet. I dried it off and I just stippled on one more coat of the paint. That way it gives this texture and also hides all those brush strokes and makes it look quite intentional. I knew I wanted to put a transfer on this, and again, with not trying to open anything new, I'm going through all the little transfer pieces I have left. Found this beautiful floral arrangement that I had left over from the Madeline transfer, and I think it's going to be gorgeous on this picture. However, as you can see, it's quite a large transfer, and my picture is very curved and has lots of shape to it. So I am going to not only cut this transfer in half, I am going to cut it in 4s just to make it very easy for me to put on. That way I have no struggling, I have no lifting, wrinkling, or anything like that. And the Iron Orchid Design transfers are so easy to do this with. You have those grid lines, makes it super easy to cut a perfectly straight line, and you can easily line your transfers up so you cannot even see where they join together. And that way I'm working with a much smaller area of a transfer, and I'm able to get it on without any issues, especially over Fusion paint, which has a built-in sealer and makes it so easy to put transfers on. So once I got this transfer on, I burnished it down with my finger, just making sure that all the edges and everything is down really well. And then I went over it one more time with just a quick coat of Big Top sealer. That sealer dries so hard and it's very matte and never has any cloudiness over dark paints. So it is my favorite sealer to use over almost any paint. And even though the Fusion paint doesn't need sealed, I do want to give this transfer a little protection. And it also had a green ring around the very top, so I had a perfect stopping point. And this picture is so beautiful, y'all. I am loving the dark green behind all those colorful florals. Way better upgrade from the apples, wouldn't you say? I really love the color of this frame. I decided to leave it at it as is. I gave it a good clean and a drink with some of that Howard's beeswax oil. So I cut down a cereal box, and I have a 14-year-old son, so cereal boxes are pretty common around my house. I gave it one coat of some vintage linen DIY clay-based paint, and now I am taking this old dictionary that is a lot torn up already. I have used pages out of it quite a few times for my journaling, so I'm just going to go ahead and get some of those raggedy pieces out, and I am going to rip the edges down to fit, make a collage somewhat. I just don't want any straight edges, and I don't want any white edges on there, and I'm just ripping all of them down so I can cover the entire cereal box. The reason I gave it a coat of the white paint was just to cover up those bright colors so they wouldn't be coming through these book pages. And now this is a totally optional thing. I just like to ink the edges. I'm using the Holtz Distress ink on a little ink dauber, and I'm going around all the edges of each of these papers, at least the big three, because I know all of that is going to be showing. And then I'm going to fill in all the sides with those smaller pieces until I get the entire thing covered. I'm actually going to use Mod Podge to decoupage today, which is not something I normally do. But like I said, I'm trying very hard to use what I have, not open anything new until I have to. I'm completely out of unopened decoupage and transfer gel and liquid patina. And if I open another can, I won't be able to sell it to you guys. And times are tough right now, I am going to tell you. So I am using a Mod Podge that I have had open for years. It works perfectly fine on paper, and I'm even going to use it on another project here in the video, and I think it worked okay. It is much easier to decoupage, and I don't really care for the little bit more of a shinier sheen that Mod Podge leaves, even though this is a matte Mod Podge I'm using, but it's going to work fine. I am just making sure that I'm getting all the cereal box covered, and then when it's dry I can just come back and cut off all the excess around the edges. So once my cardboard piece is dry, it's sturdy, and I am going to put a transfer on it. I have a few pages left. This is either from Seed Catalog or Ephemeral Melange. They're very similar. They both have even a couple of the same images, so I can't remember which one this one comes from. And I'm going to have to cut out some of the wording because I'm going to have to place it in different places to be able to get everything onto this cereal box. And once I did that, I was able to cut it apart, and because this is sealed and Mod Podge, the transfer comes off really easy. Just rub and lift if you go. If you've never used an Iron Orchid Design transfers, they are so easy and they elevate your projects so much. I do sell them on my website at susieonthefarm.com. So once I got this one transferred down, I took the words that I had cut off and just placed them in places that I thought looked good. Got them all transferred down. I did one more coat of sealer over the top. I did use Big Top, and that helped with the shine from the Mod Podge as well. And then all I had left to do was put this back in that beautiful frame, and I just love it. I love doing book page collages, and I think they look amazing as a backdrop. You could also do any kind of stamped image, would look amazing, but I love collaging, so I love this frame. One thing about this book is even though those pages were beautiful, the actual cover was not. So the first thing I did was I gutted the book. I took all the pages out in one motion. They're all still together, but don't worry, I am going to fill this book back up, and I'm even going to use some of those pages. I'm giving the cover of the book 2 coats of Fusion in the color Cashmere, and it was able to cover that dingy, grungy book perfectly. This book had a little bit of texture to it. Now I'm taking the very last rose transfer that I had from the By Any Other Name. This was one of the smaller transfers from the last Iron Orchid Designs release, and they were all stunning roses. And because Fusion Paint has that built-in sealer, the transfer went on very easy. I just used the little tool that it comes with. I rubbed as I was pulling it off. Then I burnished it down. And now I am coming back to fix the spine of that book. I have this wide piece of vintage lace and also this really pretty cream fabric that has the roses on it that actually match that transfer. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac fabric glue to put this down, and I'm making sure to get it into those cracks really good. And then I'm just going to lay the fabric piece directly over that lace, so some of the lace will show underneath the fabric as well, just to decorate this spine up a little bit. And I'm also going to use the Fabri-Tac for that. You just have to be sure, if you're using this glue, it will bleed through your fabric sometimes, so you have to really spread it smooth. Now I'm using my pinking shears to trim off any excess of the fabric on the book. And I also wanted to put a little book plate on this book. So I have several of these from the Conservatory Labels mold made up, and I'm giving this a coat of Bayberry, which is that same green that I had out from painting that picture earlier. Giving it a couple of coats, and then I went through and looked through this sticker book. It's a Tim Holtz sticker book I have that has just a bunch of sentiments in it. I use it all the time, and there are so many in this. I got it on Amazon. If I can remember, I will link it below. And I just picked out a sentiment that fit perfectly in the center of that little book plate. I'm going to ink the edges, and it's a sticker. I don't even have to glue it on there. These stick really well, and it was an absolute perfect fit in the center of that label. And now I just felt like the green kind of hid all those details, so I'm going to try to bring them out just a little bit with just a little bit of white paint, and I'm just going to dry brush and hit some of those details on here. And I'm going to go ahead and just use that same Fabri-Tac glue to glue it onto my book. But first I'm going to take another little strip of the vintage lace and put the label over it. Once I got this glued on here, the rest of this book I did off camera, but if you're interested in finding out how I sew pages into a book, don't forget I have another channel called Susie Scraps that is completely focused on paper crafting and more specifically junk journal. I make tons of journals over there, and I'm obsessed with it. I did take my little ink dauber and go around the edges, and this book is absolutely stunning now. This one is listed on the website, but you'll have to go under the books and ephemera label or part of my webpage, and I will actually link that below too as well. Little cutting board, I just couldn't resist. I'm gonna have to do a crackle milk paint on this. I was gonna try to do a video and projects without doing it, but I just can't. I just love it so much. So I'm giving it a base coat of Fusion Coal Black, and now I've mixed up Gotham Gray. It's a good neutral gray, and as you can see, milk paint covers so well. This is just one coat, and we already have good coverage. I did go ahead just in case and did 2 coats, but I dried them in between coats with my heat gun, and I can already see that incredible crackle coming through, because I forgot to mention, after I did the coal black, I sprayed this with shellac and let it dry, and every single time I get a perfect milk paint crackle when I do that. Milk paint, after it dries, can be kind of rough. I like to come back in and sand it just to get a really smooth surface, get off any flecks and any excess that might be coming off. And then I'm going to go ahead and seal this up with Big Top. And I'm sealing it and letting it dry because I am going to put a transfer. This one I am almost positive is from Ephemeral Melange. And I think that this would look so good like in a bathroom with these soft florals. And I also found these florals that match that transfer from the Madeline. So I put a few more up top, and I also wasn't going to do this, but it just brings out all of that crackle. This is the Fusion Stain and Finishing Oil, and this is in the color Cappuccino, which I'm out of right now. You guys are loving it too, and I have sold out completely. So I'm just going to cover the whole thing, let it sit for just a minute, and then wipe back all the excess with a dry paper towel, and then that oil just sits down in those tiny little cracks and highlights all of those beautiful details of this cutting board. For our last project, we're going to make over this shoeshine box. I think I've done one of these before, but it has been a very long time, so I was really excited to get to make this one over. I'm taking that coal black, and I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of coats on the feet and the top, but I'm going to decoupage on the center. So for the center part, I'm coming back and I am painting it with a DIY vintage linen. This is my favorite white right now. I'm using it a lot. It's just a really pretty white, but I'm going to be decoupaging, so I don't want any bleed through from that wood, and I really want the colors of my decoupage paper to pop. So that is why I'm giving it a coat of the white paint, and I only did one, and I did go ahead and paint the inside of the box with the white as well, just to cover up any dingy like spots. Now I'm taking some decoupage paper scraps. This one, I believe, is called Natural History, and I had almost just enough to do the entire box, but I loved the grayscale or the black and white almost images, and I just went around, and I had time. I was working on other projects as well. I am using the Mod Podge still, so I would do one side, then I would let it dry, and I would clean up the edges, sandpaper the edges, remove them, and then come back and do the next side. And finally, I worked my way all the way around. It took some time, but like I said, I was working on a few things at the same time, so it was not a big deal to let it dry and do one side at a time. After all the decoupage was dry, it's looking good already, but one thing I love to do is put some pops of color over black and white decoupage like this. And this was another sheet that I had left from the Madeline transfer, and I thought that I could probably make this one work all the way around. So I just cut pieces as I thought they would look good. I had to end up coming back and cut those birds out so I could place them where I want them without them getting on the little lock there. So this has already been sealed again with the Mod Podge, so it's very easy to do these transfers. Thankfully, this week I had no problem with lifting paint or anything with my transfers. That always makes it so much easier when things go right the first time, because we know how frustrating it can be to fix your mistakes. I had some trouble there. I couldn't remember which bird was flying upside down, but I guess it really didn't matter. And then there is also this one, the one I put on the side actually is one of my favorites. It is so beautiful. I don't know what kind of birds these are. I've never seen anything like them in real life, but they're so beautiful. And look at all of these on that branch. How gorgeous. So like I said, I had just enough to go all the way around. On the back side, we only got one little bird, but that's okay. It is the back side. And that decoupage paper is so beautiful too. Once I got all the transfers down, they do need to be sealed. Oh, I also had a little butterfly and one little bird left, so I stuck them up there on that black, and they really popped against that. Like I said, I'm not crazy about the sheen of the Mod Podge, so I am using some of the Fusion Aging Wax now just to cut down on that shine and also add a little bit of extra depth to this whole piece, and it was just the perfect final finishing touch. I hope that you guys have enjoyed all of the makeovers in today's video. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know which one was your favorite. All of these makeovers are available at SusieOnTheFarm.com, as well as all the painting products that you need to do your own makeovers. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you again in the next video.